And Mr. Washington, I've been watching your films all my life, and it's interesting to me because as an audience member, your roles have taken emotional tolls on me. I mean, I've gone home, thinking about performances you've done. I've cried at performances you've done. I've laughed at performances you've done. And I think it's interesting to me because my perspective is an emotional journey, but you as the actor have to go on this insane journey as well. I look back at something like Glory or A Training Day, as you mentioned. Are there particular roles that were harder, like when you left them, that maybe affected you more, like changed you as a person or changed you emotionally, personally? Are there ones or scenes that were harder to get by and do?
My wife said it took Malcolm X longer to leave the house than any other. She said, "Oh, Malcolm X is he's still here with us." Wow. I don't know if I was walking around doing speeches, but I just remember her saying that was one that took me a while to shake.
I mentioned Glory because you think about this one particular scene that just always gets me every single time, and that the scene is just the cry. It's just an amazing emotional moment. I'm wondering, when you shot that scene, do you remember where you were right after that scene cut and what you were thinking, and was it hard to go back down to who you were? I mean, how do you adjust back to reality after a shot like that?
Actually, I remember before the scene, and what I remember being in a quiet room or somewhere, wherever I was, and I thought about all the spirits and all the men and women who had been whipped and who'd been hung and who'd been, treated brutally. And I actually remember saying to myself, just be with me today. I didn't know what I was going to do in the scene, but I just thought about all of those kinds of people and what it must have been for them, and I just sort of said a little prayer in hopes that they would be with me on that day or in that scene, and the result is what you saw. I think they were with me.
But I'm so fascinated by how you shot this film from a filmmaking standpoint, and this is kind of like a filmmaking question, but I love that you shot 35 millimeter, and I think that's so interesting to me because a lot of filmmakers today are still shooting digitally, and I'm wondering, was that something that you wanted to keep for the look of the movie? Also, was there ever an adjusted period for you as an actor? Because you started on 35, and then you've gone through digital as well. Is that something that you've had to adjust as an actor and also director?
No. As an actor, no. There's really, you can't tell the difference. As a director, I wanted film because film is imperfect. The digital image is somehow, everybody in the frame has imperfections, all the characters. So I wanted the film to feel like that as well. Film isn't perfect, and film is emotional. Film is alive. It breathes. So I directed 3 movies, and I made them all on film.
I love that. One thing I love about this performance is and I've seen the videos of your version of the character on stage and then in the movie. And one of the things I love about the movie is the camera. We're right in the faces of these characters. It's very intense. But the stage and film are so different. They're 2 different mediums in the sense of you have a live audience reacting to you on stage. Are there any characters of yours that you've played in your career that you would be interested to see on stage versus a film? I know this one obviously.
That would be interesting. Yeah, maybe Training Day, huh? That would be that'd be interesting. I never thought of that. That's a good question. That's the first one that comes to mind. In a sense, a part of the movie Philadelphia was sort of like a play. Once they get to the courtroom, so it becomes sort of a courtroom drama. It becomes a bit theatrical, but that would be interesting.
Is there? Like you mentioned Training Day. Is there a scene that you think you would approach differently had you do it on stage? Because obviously you have to emote to the entire audience. So how would you maybe deliver a line differently? Would you make it louder? How would you?
I don't know.
What would you do?
I don't. I don't know because it still has to be organic. And I wouldn't say, oh, I do this louder because, or I do this softer because. It still has to be honest, whatever the medium.
I was on the air this morning here in Washington, D.C., and I was telling people that you and I were going to speak, and I got a lot of questions from some fans of yours, and this one question really struck me because I love that you shot this film actually on locations versus, and this person says you shot fences at an actual row house. Her name is Mickey Devine. She said, why did you decide to film in a residential neighborhood rather than a studio set?
because you want that. You can't recreate that. You know, if the dog up the block is barking, then the dog is barking. You know, we were constantly telling folks, well, you know, you got to go back in the house. We can see you. But, yeah, oh, okay, y'all go ahead and make the movie. The neighborhood was a character. Pittsburgh is a character in this story. And the Hill District specifically, and the block that we were on, the people that were there, the love that we got, the food that they cooked for us, all of those things helped to inform the movie.
I do want to say one thing before I go. I'm going to say, Mr. Washington, I wish we had more time.
Oh, get out. It was that. That's I can't even tell you the movie. Wait a minute. Don't tell me which movie. Man on Fire. That's right. He said, the guy says what? I wish you had one. He wants to. He makes a wish, or he wants to make a wish or something. And I said, I wish you had more time.
That scene is amazing. The best line in that movie, by the way, is when you say...
You and Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant said that to me. He said that was his favorite line. I wish you had more time.
I love that scene when you're like, hey, don't you believe in God? He goes, oh, I just arranged the meeting.
Oh, that's right. Cool. That's right.
Oh, man.
You remember it better than me.
Love Man on Fire, Mr. Washington. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you for all the movies you make, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.